Hello, everyone. How are you? Eid Mubarak. And you may be thinking that I'm crazy to have a class today. Actually, I was free, and I thought, why not? And my students also supported me with the idea of taking a class today. Because, as you know, I was away for a month, and I'm back, so I just wanted to catch up on the lessons that we've missed. So today we will start with chapter 20, an interesting lesson, entrepreneurial motives and characteristics. By the way, let me tell you, in Cambridge, this chapter is right in the beginning. This is the first chapter of Cambridge. However, Edexcel does things in a different way. The contents are the same in Cambridge and Edexcel, but the way Edexcel has organized and structured the syllabus is quite different. But nonetheless, so yeah, so today we have Business Studies Edexcel, Chapter 20, Entrepreneurial Motives and Characteristics. So let's start. So I will start off my chapter with this picture. Just give me a minute. Okay, with this picture here, right? So what can you see in this picture? Do you know this man? Have you ever heard of him? Do you know what he does? So I'll tell you a bit about him, and then we will start the class based on him. So he's an entrepreneur. Do you know what kind of business did he start? Um, so he's an entrepreneur. He's an American entrepreneur, and he's the founder of Netflix. Why am I talking about Netflix today? Because Netflix has changed. I feel Netflix has changed the movie industry. Netflix has changed the way we consume movies, the way we watch, movies or series. It has completely changed and altered, the way how the industry functions. Now he founded Netflix, probably 12, 15 years back, and Netflix was not an online platform. Netflix, I mean, you could not stream movies online, but there were always an online business. So you could order cassettes, DVDs, or CDs online, and they would ship it to your address. That's how Netflix worked. But then Netflix had a long struggle because the market was changing. The music industry, the film industry changed rapidly because you could easily copy or download pirated version of movies, pirated version of any music. So they were going through a very rough phase, 15 years back. And they started, and they did not do well, because there was a competition. If you go back and Google and see Blockbuster, the competitor was Blockbuster. Blockbuster had stores. You could go to the stores, buy DVDs, buy CDs. But Netflix had a different model. They were online, and if you want to watch a movie, you just order it online, and they will deliver you the CD, and then you can ship the CD back to them, and you could have a membership. That's how they started. But then when internet became fast, when we had 3G and 4G, they started streaming online. I had a Netflix account back when there was no online streaming for Netflix. You had to order, and they would send you a CD or a DVD. Okay. But then they started streaming it online because now we had the capability of streaming it online, right? So Reed Hastings, his name is Reed Hastings. So Reed Hastings, changed the way he saw the future. He predicted the future. He had a lot of perseverance. He had a lot of patience. Right, he was determined to get things right, and then he started streaming online, and that's when things became started becoming popular. But then in the beginning, there were not a lot of shows, there were not a lot of movies online. He started building the library. Um, right? He started buying movies and building the library, and then Netflix also started producing movies, and that's how things changed. And you will see Netflix series, Netflix movies, they have their own touch. They have a point of differentiation. The way all the movies are very different. Yes, they touch on different social issues, different subjects. They have rom-com, they have teenage movies, they have cartoons, they have everything. um, so yeah, and then what happened is Netflix became big, huge, and you know how Netflix is popular. Now the thing is that now a lot of people does not go to theater or does not go to movie halls to watch movies. You can watch it on your phone. Just download the Netflix app or Amazon Prime app. That's it. You can watch it in your car. You can watch it in the rickshaw. You can watch it in the CNG. You can watch it in your bed. You can pause it and continue to watch it on your laptop. That's what I do sometimes. I watch movies on my phone, on this phone, and then I pause it. And then if my laptop is around, I switch it. So he is the one who has completely changed the way we consume movies and entertainment. Yeah. And he's a great example. And he's been through a lot of downs. When everyone was against him, he believed in his vision. So Reed Hastings of Netflix, he's a great entrepreneur, and he's a great symbol of the entrepreneurial world. Now, why am I talking about him? The reason is so Reed Hastings had some characteristics. Reed Hastings was self-confident. He was self-determined. He was a self-starter. He started everything on his own self, right? He had good judgment. He could sense the future. He knew that there will be a time when there will be no DVDs and CDs. So he saw the future. He was very committed. Yes, when the business failed, when the business was not doing well, he was there. Perseverance, he took the initiative, right? So these are the characteristics that are common, not only in Reed Hastings, in all entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurs that we have talked about in the last classes, like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Tim Cook, Jacinda. These are the characteristics that should be commonly found in all the leaders. Yes, everybody will have the point of differentiation and the way they do things, but then there will be some common characteristics. Yes, Reed Hastings was also very organized. Um, he knew about financial management. His communication was very good, and he could manage a lot of people. Sorry about the spelling mistake. It's a typing error. Manage people. His decision making skills were definitely good. That's why Netflix is here. Negotiation and idea skills. So these are the skills that you require. If that you require to be an entrepreneur. Okay, so let's start with characteristics first. So you have to be self-confident. Okay, you need to believe in yourself. Even if when you're failing, you need to believe in yourself that you will succeed. Okay, you know that if you do things in a different way, you will succeed and you will not fail in any ways. All the leaders, they have this in common. Okay, so you need to have that self-confidence. If you don't believe in yourself, others will not believe in yourself, in you, definitely. Okay, whether you fail, whether you succeed, you should always believe in yourself. Okay, so that's self-confidence. Number one characteristics that you need to have. I have seen a lot of people who are not self-confident, especially today's generation. So you need to tell yourself that yes, everything is possible. Okay, then only you can be entrepreneur. Number two quality is self-determination. Okay, um, you have to be very determined. You need to take control of things when it's going around you. Okay, you can influence them and turn them something, into a good benefit. Okay, you need to, again, this is connected with self-confidence, this is connected with faith, that you need to have you need to believe in yourself that you can do things and you can change things in course. Okay, so that's self-determination. That's the number two characteristic an entrepreneur needs. Number three is being a self-starter. Now, when you're an entrepreneur, it means that you're running your own business. You're running your own empire. You're running your own country. So you have to be independent. You have to be a self-starter. You need to work independently. Not everyone will, no one will come to you and tell you, oh, at 9 o'clock, you need to go to the meeting. And at 12 o'clock, you need to do this. At 3 o'clock, you need to finish this report. Nobody is going to tell you anything. You have to do it on your own. Like I do things on my own. I know that I had a class at 2, IELTS class, I had a class at 4, 4:30, and I managed everything and work independently. So you have to be independent. If you're not independent, then probably you cannot be an entrepreneur. So think about that, being a self-starter. Yes. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to put it down here in the comment section. I will take your questions as soon as I can. So being a self-starter, doing things on your own, that's the number three characteristic. So we've talked about self-confidence, we've talked about self-determination, we've talked about working independently, which is being a self-starter. Then judgment. Because business is always changing. We know that. The external environment is changing, the internal environment is changing. So you need to judge the business for the future. Like Reed Hastings knew that in the future, things will change, and he started streaming it online. Nobody has the time or will have the time to go to, let's say, to go to a cinema hall, or to go to a theater, a movie theater, or to go to a shop to buy a DVD. Those days are gone. There'll be a time when you will not go to any stores anymore. Now you will just sit home and buy things. So you need to have that judgment. You need to You need to predict the future, that what the business might be in the future. Okay. Judgment is also about what people is saying, what's happening in the market. Collect them from multiple sources, listen to advice, and then do things on your own. So judgment is the number four characteristics that you need to have. Number five, which I really like, commitment. Once you start your own business, you really have to be committed, because again, you can just quit whenever you want, but it's very easy to work for someone else. You just go, you just have some duties. When you're an employee, when you're working for someone else, I'm not trying to demean anyone, but when you're working for someone else, it's very easy, because whether you're making money or not making money, you don't care. You will get monthly salary, and you have a set of tasks, a set of defined role. You do that, and that's it. But the role of an entrepreneur, the kind of task that an entrepreneur needs to do is quite varied. They need to work longer hours. When I formed FAS, I know for a fact that I did work 13, 14 hours a day. I used to enter the office at 9 or 10 o'clock and leave at 11, 12 o'clock, or sometimes even 1 a.m. Because I was just setting up the business, and that kind of commitment is needed. Why commitment? Because for everything, money is not, if you work 13 hours today, you will not get a financial benefit, but it may help you in the future. Okay? So you have to be really motivated and committed to do things again on your own. Okay? And it may be stressful, because as I said, you may have a varied task. You need to look at marketing, you need to look at finance, you need to make reports, you need to talk to people, right? I'll tell you my roles. My role as an entrepreneur, I make Facebook posts. There's a team who makes it, but then I review it. Like the Eid post that we made it was made by our team, but then the writing on top, Eid Mubarak, I did it because I was not satisfied. I wrote the poem, then I take classes, I make the slides, right? Do teachers meeting, and do all sorts of things. So it is stressful. So that's commitment. Okay. So we've talked about self-confidence, we've talked about self-determination, we've talked about being a self-starter, judgment, commitment, perseverance. Okay, perseverance. So you need to be patient because a business has a graph. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So a business will have success, a business will have failures. When it's not doing good, you need to be patient. You need to learn from your mistakes. That okay, what went wrong, and then you should be able to bounce back. Okay, so that is that. Sir, how do you make the logo? What logo, Zavir? Can you just write again? Sorry, I just saw your message. Uh, what logo? Is it the FES logo? Are you talking about the FES logo? Just type in quickly so that I can. Okay, we'll get back to you. Just type in which logo. We can talk about that. And then initiative. Initiative, again, it's connected with, let's say, being a self-starter. It's connected with that because you need to take the first initiation. You need to take the first step. Again, nobody is going to tell you. Okay, you cannot wait for some things to happen. You have to change it. You have to be proactive. So that is initiative. Okay, if something is wrong, you cannot wait for people to change. If you think, for example, before my slides were very plain, were very white, and then I did this course, and my tutors taught me that how to make learning materials engaging. And now I did not wait for people to change my slides. I took the initiative to update my slides so that it's more engaging for the students. So yeah, right. And not every successful entrepreneur will have all these characteristics. It's understandable. Not everyone is perfect, but 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 you can always hire people that will help you. Let's say if you're not good in judgment, if you're not good in decision making skills, you can have a manager who's very good at that. Okay, that's how they can help you. So these are the characteristics that an entrepreneur must have: self-confidence, self-determination, being a self-starter, judging the future, committed, perseverance, and initiative. Of course, not all the characteristics may be may be present in an entrepreneur, but then you can always hire people who are good at it. Yes, and you can learn on the way. You can always learn. Zavir, your question, logo. Yes. So it took us a month to make the logo, and there was a team who's helped us, and there was an advertising agency who's helped us. So this logo actually came to my mind when I there was a reference. I saw this image somewhere when I was a student in UK, and I knew that I was going to come back and start my own institution. So I was looking at different logos and what I can do, and that idea was there. Then I spoke to the agency, and they drew it out for me. It took a month. They did 4, 5 variations, and it has a meaning. It has a very deep meaning, which I can explain it later. It has a meaning. It's not something that, oh, I liked it and I'm going to incorporate it. No, and it did take a long time to make it. A month is a long time just for the logo because we tried different things, we tried different colors, but I feel it's still not perfect. I will change it right in the future. Great. So we've talked about characteristics. We'll go ahead and do skills. The characteristics is more sometimes inborn. It's more has to do with your behavior, right? Skills is more doing things. Skills is more external. Skills is it defines your ability to do something. So you need to have a certain skill if you want to become an entrepreneur. For example, let's say if you want to start a pilot school, let's a school to train pilots, you need to have some kind of piloting experience. I started this education institution, and therefore I had plenty of experience in the teaching world, and I've also studied. I had educational qualifications as well and practical qualifications as well. Now let's say if you want to start let's say a salon, a men's salon, at least you should know a little bit about haircut, how to cut it, different styles, different aspects of it, right? If you want to start a restaurant, you should at least have a bit of experience how to run restaurants. You should have knowledge about food. Yeah. So that's that. But then again, it is also possible to open businesses that are completely unfamiliar to you. I also have a small IT company, and I'm completely inexperienced about IT. I really don't know anything about it, but I've learned it in the last 3 4 years, and I'm still learning. Okay. And it's possible, let's say you don't know anything about IT, you can start a company and you can learn yourself, self learn yourself. And especially nowadays, in terms of, we live in a very well connected world. You can learn online, you can learn from YouTube, you can learn from, there are plenty of websites, right? Yeah, like for example, Jack Ma, when Jack Ma started Alibaba, he did not have anything, he did not know anything about internet was very new back in those days, but he self learned himself. Okay, so it's also possible to start a business in an unfamiliar field, and you learn on the way, you make mistakes and you learn it. Okay, so there you go. Organizing. So the first skills that you need is organizing. Okay, so organizing means, because when you run a business, you need to plan, you need to schedule, you need to give instructions, you need to prioritize that, should I do this or should I do that? Setting up systems, monitoring, time management, meeting deadlines, these falls under the category of organizing. Okay, so you need to be a good organizer. Like, I feel I'm a good organizer, but I have met better organizers than myself. I did CELTA from Cambridge Uni and Cambridge University, and I met a girl, and she's from China, and I think I've never met anyone like that. She is so organized. Our course was so tough. We did not have much time, because we used to have around 10, around 9 10 hours classes every day. There was a whole schedule that we had to follow, and then we had to make presentations and lesson plans every night, studying for 7 8 hours. But still, she finished everything before time. She used to finish 2 classes or 2 lessons where we were just able to complete one, and she was always ahead of her work. So she's the best organized person I've ever seen. But when you run a business, you need to be organized, because there'll be so many things happening, right? Organizing your laptop, organizing meetings, planning, scheduling, okay, giving instructions, which one to do first, which one to do second, because again, you will have a lot of things to do. Zavir and Renuma, you will have a lot of things to do. So break your time into small blocks. Okay, from 1 to 2, I'm going to read. From 2 to 3, I'm going to make presentations. From 3 to 4, I have a class. From 5 to 6, again, I'll make some corrections. From 7 to 8, a meeting. 9 to 10, make a report. So organize yourself. If you don't organize, it'll be very difficult for you to complete your job, because for an entrepreneur, there may be a lot of things to do. The second skills that is required is financial management. Very, very important. My father, when I started my business, my father told me one thing. He said, in Bangla, he said, একটা যদি চাও অর্ডার দেওয়া হয় অফিসে, একটা যদি পুরিও অর্ডার দেওয়া হয়, ওইটারও ওটারও রেকর্ডস তোমার রাখতে হবে, ওটারও নোট টেকিং করতে হবে, because finance is very, very important. And that's what he said. I still remember, and I kept that in mind. So financial management is about record keeping. It's about budgeting, how much money is coming in, how much is going out, chasing debts. Let's say one of my students hasn't paid money, so call him or her and ask him or her to pay. If you need loans, applying for loans in the bank. If you already have loans, if you have to pay, please pay on time. Otherwise, you may have problems. Pay your suppliers on time. Overdrafts, analyzing financial information, right? Like, predicting, doing forecasting for next month. So all these things are very important. Financial management, because if it is neglected, the business can fail. The business can totally fail. Okay. So yeah, skills required. So financial management. So the first skills is organizing. The second is financial management. Third, communication. Talking to people, because in a business there's a wide range of stakeholders. You have customers, you have employees, you have suppliers, you have local communities, you have people from law and enforcement agencies. So communication will always help you, face-to-face communication, being charming, being well behaved, talking to people with confidence, showing professionalism, influencing people in a good way, of course, right? That's face-to-face. Writing also matters, especially in some profession, especially in my profession, writing letters, memos, emails, that is important. Presentation skills. You need to have presentation skills, because in companies you may have to present and tell people what to do or what not to do, right? That is that. Yeah. Communication. So communication plays a very important role. Think about, if you're rude, if you're not good, if you are, if you're not nice to people, then will you get enough business to keep yourself, afloat? No. If you are, if you don't have professionalism, if you don't have confidence, if you're not charming, if you're not well behaved, people will not do any kind of businesses with you. So think about that. If your presentation skills are not good, if your writing skills are not good, okay. So communication. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to write it down here. We're taking live questions now. So yeah, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Then managing people, right? I think we've already talked about this. We have talked about a lot of things which are here in chapter 20 in the past. Managing people, because in a business you may have 200, 300 employees. Different people may be from different backgrounds, okay? And it's one of the difficult tasks, okay, to manage people, to motivate them, to keep the business running. And for that, you need to hire the right people. We have the best employee. There's nothing called as best. For your company, you can always hire the appropriate person, the right person. Okay, so managing people is a key, especially in Bangladesh. Managing people is quite difficult. Okay, so yeah, there we go. So managing people. So we've talked about organizing, we've talked about financial management, we've talked about communication, we've also talked about managing people. 4, decision-making skills. Of course, in business, you need to make different kinds of decisions. You need to make decisions on a regular basis, everyday basis. Let's say which paper to buy, or we need to hire employees. Where should we advertise? Which Facebook posts should go. These are all everyday jobs, everyday tasks. Okay, and this can be taken easily by a manager or by an employee. But then you may also have to take very important decisions at the higher level. Like, let's say you're moving, you have to choose a new location. that is quite important, right? That's quite strategic. You may have to design a new brand campaign for a new product, or you may have to decide what new product to launch. These are all important decisions. But then you also have everyday decisions like what materials to order, which paper to order, or where to advertise for the new employee, right? So decisions can be there can be different kinds of decisions. Sometimes you may have a lot of time to make decisions. You may have 1 or 2 days to decide on which location to choose, and sometimes you may just have few hours or sometimes few minutes to make decision, right? So what do you do then? So it is challenging. So you should be able to make decisions quickly, efficiently, that will help the business, right? So larger firms hire HR. Correct, correct. And they will have a team, Zavir. Absolutely. They will have a team and they will all discuss together. Okay. But then, of course, the main decision lies in the hand of the founder or the CEO or the director. Okay. But they will have a team, HR, and decision making can be done from, so I think you've mentioned that in terms of managing people. Yeah, yeah, managing people, HR will be there, and there you go. And even for decision making in larger firms, you will have teams. You will have teams, board of directors, where everybody will sit down and make decisions. And managing people for bigger firms, you will have HR team who will recruit people, manage people, train people, right? Motivate them. So yeah, just give me 1 minute. My laptop is going out of charge. I'll just put this in. Okay, we are here. So decision making, right? Next up is negotiation. Because in business, you will have to speak to different people. You may have to discuss about price. You may have to discuss about contracts. So you should have a good negotiation skills. How to negotiate, bring the price down, how to negotiate in terms of contract. You should be calm, you should be patient, you should be able to put forward your argument in a very confident manner, but calm. We see people that sometimes they get excited, they get angry in businesses, but you can't really do that. You have to be calm, you need to be confident. If you're not happy with something, you should be able to put it out, in a very nice manner, in a very polite way. Okay. um, so yeah, negotiation, right? And last we have IT skills. So we've talked about organization, we've talked about financial management, that's number two. We've talked about communication, number three. Managing people, four. Decision making skills, five. Negotiation, six. Number seven is IT skills. Especially nowadays, you need to have good IT skills. After I started the business, I did not have, I was good in technical stuff, but then I'm so good now, right? Sometimes you need to file up systems, keep informations on your computer. You should be able to do that, and I do it. I have different hard disk, and everything is saved on that hard disk. Okay, you should be able to communicate with customers, other stakeholders, people, local community, suppliers using email, conference. Yes. So that's that. You should be able to use Excel as an entrepreneur. Definitely, you should be able to use Microsoft Office, Excel, PowerPoint, Word properly. Now Microsoft Suite is considered to be a very basic software, so you should be able to do that properly. Okay. There should be no excuse with that. For example, say I've designed these slides on PowerPoint and it looks great, and I can do a lot of things here. Okay. You should be able to design documents like, calculate Facebook post. I've done it. Someone was there who did it, and then the rest of the design was done by myself. I can also make Facebook posts now. So I have learned it on the way, and I did not have these skills when I started the business, right? And for nowadays in the 21st century, it is quite important. Designing Facebook posts, designing invoices, flyers, newsletters, because yes, you can give it to a designer, but sometimes they take a lot of time. Sometimes they may not understand your requirement. And nowadays it's quite easy. There are a lot of softwares, there are a lot of websites. You can just go in, upload a picture, and if you have a good idea, you can do it. For me, it is easy. I don't know for others, but for me, I like design. My students know it. I'm very design oriented. So I like designing. So yeah, you may have to set up a business website. We have a website, fyruzeducation.com. It was made by me and my friend. It was made by my friend and me. We did it together, right? And I did not have any experience, so I learned when I was designing our own website, right? Use of social media. We use social media a lot, making Instagram posts, making Facebook posts, right? Because these things have more impact nowadays. You don't need to make brochures and flyers and stand on the street and give it to each and every people. Those days are a thing of the past. Yes, but now you have to make a Facebook post, put it down there, boost the post, send it to as many people you can, right? So social media, Instagram, Snapchat, very important to have these skills. Using computer software to give presentations, like can you use PowerPoint? There are different slides, or there are different softwares available. Using specialist software, like for example, I know how to edit videos using Final Cut Pro, right? The videos that are made, it's all made by me. The last 5 videos, I made it. I shot it. I did not have any idea. I have a camera. I saw, different videos and tutorials on YouTube. Did a short course. Learned it practically first, and then did a short course, and figured out. Made a lot of mistake. If you see my first video, it's so bad, but my 5th video, it's quite good, and then we're making new ones in the future. Do you know how to use a specialist software? These things will make you different. These things will make you stand out from the crowd. Okay, especially in the 21st century. If you go back 20 years, using this wouldn't be in your syllabus. If you go back 20 years, things are becoming difficult. You need to know a lot of things. You need to increase your range, right? And yes, so we finished around 16 slides. This chapter has 26 slides. We will finish it in the next class. It's great. It was great to have this class. So today we started off and we talked about this man, Reed Hastings, the founder of Netflix, and we've done this. Okay, characteristics. We've talked about characteristics of entrepreneurs and skills required. We'll finish this chapter in the next class. Tomorrow, I wanted to have an extra class, but I'm not going to have one because I have other meetings. We'll have a class day after tomorrow anyways, so we'll start with that. Great. I will see you in the next one. Do not hesitate to like our page on Facebook, Fyruz Education Services. You can also send me friend request, Fyruz Khan. I don't have a fan page, just a personal page. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just type in Fyruz Education Services. We have a lot of videos out there, and we are constantly updating it. Thank you very much. I will see you soon.